What's good, people? What's good? What's good? What's good? All right, we're about to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Let's get right into it. Now, there's a guy who has a YouTube channel. His name is Bobby Price. I like his channel. Um, I've been checking his videos out, and he had one in particular that kind of stood out to me because I pretty much did a video really similar and um just mentioned a lot of the same things he was talking about. And basically, the point that he was getting at in his video was, he's talking about the UK and the Latino fans being the best fans in boxing. Okay, I agree. They support their countrymen, um, and pretty much, um, his point of saying in America we don't support our own, and I agree. But there's some things in there that people need to understand. For one, when you talk about boxing like it's just an entity to itself, like boxing is not people, it's not controlled by people. The fans are not people who have emotions and bias, and I get what he's saying. Okay, like I said in one of a previous video, they asked AJ who was his favorite fighter, one of his favorite fighters. They asked him, like, who do you like? Who's your favorite fighter? And he said it's Canelo. Okay, Canelo's not British, and like I said, when Ruiz fought against AJ, who was Canelo screaming at the top of his lungs for? His countrymen. Okay, I get what the guy's saying, and like the points he was making was true. Like, yeah, you're right. We don't get behind fighters like they do in other countries. But let me just say something to make more sense out of this thing. Okay, me not being a fan means I'm not emotionally invested into any one fighter and any one team or whatever. So you participate, you want to see this team win, this guy win. What if they lose? Oh, okay. Oh, hey, they lost. That's just me. I don't lose any sleep. I'm not laying in the bed with my fingers crossed behind my head, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what they did wrong and what they should have did to, you know. Now, let me make some points with that. I'm not from the UK. I'm not British. But whoever AJ fights, I want to see AJ win. One, if I'm a fan of anything, it's fighting. It's boxing. It's not so much I'm a fan of him or her. No. There's people who I appreciate what they do and I respect their craft because like they really go in and you see like they're about taking care of business. AJ is a gentleman. He carries himself very respectfully. And even when fighters try to kick him and talk trash about them, he doesn't even. I'm pretty sure deep down inside, he's like, you mother, but he doesn't even get caught up into it. He doesn't get in front of the camera and just mouth off. Now, imagine me saying, I like AJ as a fighter, but I can't really root for him because he's British. Is that not some racist shit? Is that not some biased racist shit? Um, I can't cheer for him. That's no different from saying, you know what? I like that chick right there, but she's British, and I'm not British, and I can't have a woman that's British. You know, oh, that guy's cool, man. You know what? He's the kind of guy that'll give the shirt off his back, but he's Chinese, and I'm not Chinese, so no. I have to be fair. I should have to show favoritism to my people. Okay, isn't that part of the problem with like the LDBC? That they don't care about white American fighters. They only care about black fighters. Okay, black American fighters. Okay. And so let me tell you the difference with being a fan. What is one of the issues of being a fan, okay, versus an observer that just appreciates like I do. I call myself an observer. I'm not a fan. When you're a fan, you get emotionally invested. You feel ups and downs when you're a fighter that you like win or lose, your team win or lose. Um, but what happens is you have a bias in you. Yes, yes, you do. You have a strong bias, and you're going to rock with that person regardless, right? Well, let's put it like this. I look at talent, and I also look at the way people carry themselves. And there's a certain morale, a certain, respect that people have that I appreciate. So I can't see myself. Me and my wife are not even from the same country. We're not even the same nationality. So imagine me fucking telling my wife, "Well, I love you, but we're not the same. We're not the same." So there's other people who, I love equally as much as you do or more because we're countrymen. If you say no, but that's different. No, it's not fucking different. Because I've been in situations where people, you and that person is like this, but they choose their countrymen over you in situations, or defend their countrymen over you in situations when their countryman is dead wrong. So it is the same thing because we're people. So what happens is when you're sitting here saying, "Well, we don't support American fighters," right? America doesn't even support Americans. Don't support each other. Period in life. Okay, so imagine, for example, people bashing Dante's Nation. I don't rock with anybody from the LDBC. They're very biased and they're like delusional to me, and they just say a lot of senseless shit. Because I can guarantee you, if Deontay Wilder had Anthony Joshua's resume and all these titles, and there's no way in fuck they're gonna tell me that what what Deontay Wilder accomplished, that they would see it as a greater accomplishment. When this guy did way more than what Wilder did in half the time. You don't think that these would be factors? Of course, of course, if Deontay Wilder was from the UK and Anthony Joshua was a Black American, you better believe they would be all behind him. Well, now here's the thing. Imagine people from the LDBC dealing with racist situations where you have white Americans that want to speak up for white fighters or white athletes and try to give them the edge over black athletes. When you're a fan, you know what you do? You're gonna say, "You see, the motherfuckers over there, the punk ass white boys over there saying fucking such and such is better than such and such just because he's white. Fuck that. They rock with their people, I rock with my people." Well, does that look like we're unified? No. Right here in America. Let's go back to Muhammad Ali saying, "Why am I going to war to fight for a country that don't even fight for me? This place is right here in Miami Beach. I can't even go. You want me to go kill somebody who ain't never called me a nigga?" Okay, we haven't cleaned our mess up yet. So when you narrow it down to just boxing, you're overlooking the point. It's race driven. All these hate acts and these hate speeches and all of this nonsense that we see going, it's all race driven. The same thing that drive people to say whatever ignorant comments is the same things that keep them apart. So how the hell do you expect people to address these situations like fairly when first off we're saying we're only going to cheer for each other because we should back each other because we're American. Now you had several people from the UK respond saying, "Yeah, man, that's how us Brits are. Man, we back each other no matter what." Okay, let me just say this. Whoever Muhammad Ali would fight, I would want to see Ali win. Whoever Roy Jones fight, I want to see Roy Jones win. Whoever AJ fight, I want to see AJ win. Whoever Lennox Lewis fight, I wanted to see him win. But I was split when he fought Holyfield because it was like, damn. One being from here and one being from the UK didn't mean shit to me. I basically just felt like those are the two heavyweights that I looked at like, hey, those guys are classy, fighters that go in there and go to war. Now, Mike Tyson, early in his career, when he was doing his thing and he was always confident in himself, and we would hear stories about him outside the ring, which I didn't really focus on. But you started to see Tyson making excuses, bit a man's ear, a piece of his ear off, bit Lennox Lewis in a press conference. Remember when Tyson was the "you punk ass white boy, I'll fuck you till you love me, punk." Remember, I mean, just the crazy shit he was saying and doing. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with Mike, man? Is he losing his fucking mind or something? And I'm watching Mike, and I just couldn't get behind him because of that. Now imagine me sitting here making excuses for Mike Tyson saying this shit. Imagine me sitting here making excuses. Well, Mike, he grew up in a broken home and he this and that, as did a lot of us. But at the end of the day, I look at talent, man. I look at talent. I don't look at, oh well, you know, this motherfucker right here, man, he's not one of us. No, no. Imagine somebody mistreating my kids because my kids are mixed. Hmm? Imagine that. Imagine people saying mean, vicious, malicious shit to my kids or being biased towards them. That's no different from you going to a job to get it. You going to a place to get a job, and someone turns. Let's say they just openly say, "Well, I want to hire you, but you're not my countryman. You're qualified, but you don't qualify in the ethnicity department." And you can't say, "But that's different." It's not fucking different. No, it's bias and it's racist shit that we're saying we'll cheer for this person because. And when you break it down, if people would take it as just a sport and had no problem saying, "Hey, the better man won," you understand? No. Look at what's happening right now. Fury and Wilder fought 2 months ago now, right? 2, 3 months ago, and we're still talking about the fucking glove gate. We're still talking about Fury cheated. Fury, and I'm sitting here going, okay, now personally, I don't really care for Fury as a fighter. I think Fury can fight. I respect what he does in the ring. He wins fights. I'm just not really into Fury. Like I don't, but like I said, I'm not a fan. I just look at certain, but that doesn't mean I'm going to say, oh, he can't fight. No, I don't really like. I just don't really like his style of fighting. Like it's just but he gets it done. So I'm not saying it to knock him. I personally just, I'm not really, no. And like I said, whoever AJ fight, I want to see AJ win. Okay. It's funny too because in saying this, well, Americans hated Floyd Mayweather. He's an American. He's an American. Okay. And black and white Americans didn't support him. And a lot of racist people didn't support him because he's a young black dude. That yeah, he might have said a lot of things. Yeah, I'm this. I'm the great. So fucking what? So what? Floyd never said anything stupid about killing people. But no, Floyd wanted to make sure everybody was on an even playing field. Take the drug test, stuff like that. He was cocky, arrogant. So what? I don't care about that. Personally, me. There are some people who have an obnoxious demeanor where it's like, but I don't dislike Tyson. I don't know any of them to say I like them as people, but as a fighter, I don't dislike Tyson Fury as a fighter. I just don't really care for his fights don't do anything for me, but he gets the job done. Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Pacquiao, you had more people voting for Pacquiao to win that were American than you had people saying they wanted to see Floyd win. I mean, so it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. People from other countries have their country behind them of the people who's into what they're doing. No, in America, it's like you either cheer for black or you cheer for white. It's fucked up. And that's the point that I'm making. You're trying to separate boxing like it's an entity to itself where, like, as a boxing fan, or as a sports fan, it's just like when you live in America. People from the South don't get along with a lot of people from up North. From the West, Midwest. I remember listening to NWA. Eazy-E, Ice Cube, all these guys at DOC. I didn't give a fuck about them coming from the West Coast. I'm listening to them like, okay, these guys are dope. But all this East Coast, West Coast bullshit, for a person to talk about how we don't support our own fighters, is like, that means you're turning a blind eye to reality, man. People don't just change cold turkey. And you have too many people that keep this bullshit going. So, look at, for example, look at Andy Ruiz. Okay, we know he's Latino, right? But they was calling him the American because he's an American citizen. Isn't it funny how as soon as he got the world title, now he's so concerned about his Latino people, his Latino, right? And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I get clearly what the guy's saying. But that's the point of what, people are overlooking in that situation is, yeah, man, these guys, they cheer for people simply because of where they're from. Look, Deontay Wilder, his daughter was sick at one time. And he didn't know how he was going to get money to take care of her, to get her the medicine she need, right? And then thankfully for him that he was able to do that. You know, um, I don't know Deontay Wilder personally. I don't hate Deontay Wilder. I don't like Deontay Wilder. I don't know this guy personally. You might meet him in person and think, yo, he's a cool guy. In front of that camera, he does a lot of jackass shit. And if he was standing right here in front of me, I would tell him, yo, what the dumb shit that you say? What the fuck drive you to say shit like that? I don't give a shit about that. I'm not afraid of him or nobody else. At the end of the day, we're all men. Plain and simple. I'm not afraid of no fucking body. So at the end of the day, for him to say his daughter, to express how he felt about her in that situation, yeah, it's like, yeah, man, you hope that he can get what she needs so she can live a long, healthy life. And but then you're sitting here talking about you want a body on your record. And then the thing he said that really made me lose respect for him is when he said, I want to look a kid in his eyes while his father lay, while his father body lay on the ground shaking, dying. I want to stare a kid in his eyes while his father dying. But you sat here, explaining how your heart goes out to your daughter, how you love her, and people felt you on that. So it's okay for your daughter to live. You want to see her live, but it's okay for you to stare a kid in the face and yeah, yeah, I just killed your father. That was some classless shit. Now I'm going to sit here and defend that. I'm going to sit here and act like, oh, that's just boxing talk. No. See, and that's my thing. AJ don't need that shit. Vladimir Klitschko didn't need that shit. You understand what I'm saying? People were saying to me, I don't really care about all this greatest of all time talk. And people said, who do you think? I think Ali would have beat all these heavyweights. What you think? Now, this is what I said. Okay? And I don't give a shit who agree with me or not. It's my fucking opinion. Okay? I'm not saying what I'm saying to make people agree with you, or who I think would have won or not. But I said, I think Ali, okay, let's take a prime Ali and everybody in their prime. Okay, when they were at their very best, and you put them together. I think Ali beats everybody. I think him and Holyfield might have been 50-50. I see there's Holyfield just had a style, man, that he kept coming. And I think Ali wins, but also it's hard to say that, man. It's hard for me to say that. But I think that's 50-50. I think that fight can go either way. Put it to you like that. I really think that fight goes either way. But I do edge Ali. I edge Ali. But it's like, let's just say this, 50-50 Ali Holyfield. That's my opinion. I think Ali loses to Lennox Lewis. And I think Ali loses to both Klitschko's. I think Ali beats everybody else. Now, that's my opinion. Do I care if people are going, oh, man, no, it's my fucking opinion. You can't correct me for what I think. I don't know that would have happened, but that's just what I think. That's how I see it, to me. Okay. I could sit here and say, nah, fuck that, and be biased and say, Ali beats everybody, bar none. Okay? Tyson said he could never beat Ali. But there's times when Tyson was fighting out. Tyson said, I'm the best heavyweight ever. I'm the best fighter of all time ever. I'm the most vicious ever. I destroy anybody. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. I don't care about that. You're supposed to be confident. I don't even care about Deontay Wilder saying he would have knocked Ali out. He would have knocked Tyson out. No, now, do I believe him? Do I agree? No. But what do I expect him to say? Oh, no, I couldn't beat those guys. No. I feel like AJ is it's a such thing as being humble. But I think, like, AJ, he's such a gentleman that he make people feel like he's lost his edge. He's not what he used to be. And they feel like he's gotten soft. Because they asked him that question, who would win a fight between him and Mike Tyson? Oh, Mike would have killed me, man. And I'm saying to myself, wrong answer, AJ. I would have said something like, look, I don't think anybody can beat me. But you know what? I don't really care about the fantasy fights. We'll never know, and it's irrelevant. I focus on who's here now. We'll never know. But like I said, I don't think anybody can beat me. That's what I would have said. He's not me, I'm not him. But to say, oh, he'd have crushed me, man. It's like, I understand why people, that's why a lot of times people are more kind of skeptical, like where AJ Hart is. And I think that's just him being a gentleman, being humble. I don't know. Maybe he don't really feel like that. Maybe he just said that because he feel like, well, maybe that's the politically correct answer. I don't know. Um, I don't feel like there's no politically correct answer. I feel like you be who you are. But I like the way he carry himself. I don't like a lot of the asinine shit that Deontay Wilder says. So why would I back him just because? Well, yeah, we both in America, man, and yeah, yeah, I gotta. No, no. Who the fuck says if you live in New York, you have to cheer for the Giants? What rule says if you live in? I mean, hell, look, man. In this country, I grew up in Jersey, okay, in New Jersey. I always liked the San Antonio Spurs and the Oakland Raiders. Am I wrong for that? Oh, you're not from San Antonio. You're not from Oakland. So what? What rule says I can't like? I mean, fuck. I know people born and raised in New York, and they're Green Bay Packer fans. You understand what I'm saying? I know people from Seattle. They're Detroit Lion fans. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and I mean, so many people. I know so many people that their team that they like, they're not from. They've never even been there. It's the team that they at the time, like when you saw this team, and it was like, man, I like them. I can be biased and say the Raiders were the greatest team of all time. Oh, the 1983 Raiders would have beat anybody. I wouldn't say that because you know what? I don't feel that. I've never liked the Dallas Cowboys. Never never cheered for them to win. Never really cared. It was times I had a relative that liked the Cowboys, so you know his thing was I never had anything against them, but it was never a team that I followed. It was whoever he followed. Being my uncle, being an influence in my life, like whatever he liked, I liked. It was that type of thing. But I never really liked the Cowboys. Never. They play the Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders. But for me to say, I think that the Raiders had the greatest franchise, or that '83 team would have beat any team. I could say that shit, but I don't even believe that. So why would I say it? Why would I lie just to be biased? If the Raiders have a sucky season and people say, how come you don't talk about football? Because I like the Raiders and they suck right now. So where's the conversation? Where's the material, right? I will always go with the Raiders, okay, to beat any other team. But to me, for a long time, I felt like the San Francisco 49ers. Any championship that they won with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, I felt like they'll beat anybody. When I watched that 90s Cowboys team play, I'm like, even the Buffalo Bills had a shot at beating them because the Buffalo Bills was undersized against the Redskins and the Cowboys, and against the Philadelphia Eagles, because those three teams are the first team that started all these 300-plus-pound guys on the offensive defensive line, and they were just too big, man. But the championship, the Cowboys that won the Super Bowls, I mean, to me, I think the 90s Cowboys, and now watching the New England Patriots is like, I think that as far as you could pick any one of those versions of those teams that when they won championships, I would go Patriots, 90s Cowboys, San Francisco and Buffalo, kind of, because they wouldn't have had that. As you see how it was pretty much came down to a field goal when it came down to the Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants in their Super Bowl, because they wasn't, the teams are like just evenly matched, man. It was like, it wasn't undersized against, the Giants. So they didn't have that problem. And I don't like the Cowboys, the Redskins, or the Eagles. I don't like any of those. You understand what I'm saying? So for me to say, I think those teams, that's just me being a man. I'm going to sit here like a little fucking kid. No. I know the Raiders are the best team ever. Like, grow up, man. This is what I mean when people say we have to support our own. I get you into an extent, but we have to clean up the mess that really matters first, because you can't have unity when racism is driving people to do and say the things that they do and say. It's you can't just separate boxing and say as boxers we don't no we don't. If I say I like Joe Calzaghe as a fighter, oh man, that motherfucker ain't one of us. Only race I know is the human race. So I don't understand how people are so shocked about what. Oh, there's no support. No, there's no support, man. America's a big mess. You don't think there's racism in the UK? Of course it is. But I noticed something, and I said this in a previous video. When they ask a Brit about fighting another fighter from a different country, they always say, well, I'm a Brit, he's a Brit, so, I'm going to back him because he's a Brit. Okay. I'm not knocking them for that, but here's what I'm saying. If you can't deep down inside say, I think he's the better fighter, like David Haye clearly thought Deontay Wilder was going to knock out Tyson Fury. Now imagine him sitting there saying, nah, man, nah, I'm going Fury because, he's my countryman. And no, his prediction was all wrong. But he spoke what he thought was going to happen. Now you take AJ versus Fury. Brits is saying, I don't know. They're choosing who they think is going to win based on either who they like better or who they really think is the better fighter. Not, well, my skin black, AJ skin black, so I'm going AJ. You understand what I'm saying? It's more like they just want, whoever to win. They're both British. But if they fight anybody else that's not British, they're going with that British fighter to win. Even if they want the British fighter to win and they think they're going to lose, they're still saying, I'm going with the British fighter. David Haye didn't do that. And people was, I saw comments to people responding to his comments. I'm just not built like that, man. I look at talent. I look at who I think really is the better fighter. If it's somebody I had a personal, I don't like that motherfucker. I don't know these people to have a personal beef with them or whatever. I thought Tony Bellew was obnoxious in interviews and stuff at times. Like with David Haye, he kept antagonizing the guy. He was trying to get in his head. And when they fought, I didn't really know what to expect because, to be honest with you, David Haye didn't look the same to me. After, he was out for so long, he came back and he had those two, meatballs he fought, and I'm like, even though he got them out of there, he was throwing punches from way back. He just looked wild and amateur-like, and he even said that. And it was like, but 2 fights back to back, you did the same thing. And I just imagine him fighting against Bellew, like, if he beats Bellew, he's going to have to knock him out because I know that Bellew can box. And even though David Haye's been fighting as a heavyweight for a while, David Haye is not like a big heavyweight compared to these other guys. And the fact that, he did what he did, it just shows you, like, yeah, he was better than David Haye at that point. Was it a prime David Haye? No. But the point is, hey, he got in there and he lost. And I just enjoyed a great fight. I wasn't sitting back worried about where they were, where they're from, and race, skin color had nothing to do with it. I just wanted to see a great fight. Don't give the narrative off that you're not supposed to do that. Like you're supposed to cheer for, no. And this is what I'm saying. When you have a bias, when you choose sides, and you have bias in you, there's room for racism. The difference with being a fan doesn't mean that you have to hate or dislike the person or, the team that your country's going against or whatever, like in the Olympics or something like that or whatever. But if you read comments, you see everybody doesn't get it. Because you got people in America. Look, there was white Americans that was shooting down Deontay Wilder, cheering for Fury because his skin is white, and talking about black people think that we owe them. Who the fuck is we? You put yourself for part of the majority in a racist battle because of something that he said. When Deontay was talking that shit about the war just begun, I'm like, what kind of ignorant shit are you talking? Like, all right, seriously? There's no fucking war, man. It's you versus Fury. Hey, he got his ass kicked. What more can we say? And this is what I'm saying. Race-driven tactics, I don't get caught up in that. And like I said, my family's mixed with several ethnicities. And I'd be damned if I'm going to sit down and try to insult or pick and choose. And no, I love everybody that loves me. Now, if people don't understand that, it's not just a boxing thing. It's the simple fact racism is what drives them to do what they do. And until we clean that up, people not cheering for certain fighters is just a small thing compared to the overall picture, man. Okay? And that's just facts. You can't think that just because you love boxing that people are going to get it. And the guy, I understood his points, but I just wanted to basically piggyback off what he said to make the explanation that, hey, people are just racist, people are biased, and people just don't care. And this is one of the reasons why people have so many problems with Americans, because I'm be with you. Americans are very pig-headed, greedy, selfish, and basically look at the coronavirus situation. I still work and I go out and I'm around people to see how it's amazing how ignorant and how arrogant people can be. And until we decide racism is a thing that should have never happened in the first place and we stomp it out, we are going to continue to have these issues. Anyway, that's all I want to say on this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.